Yes, we are now live.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Conversation, another session of Coffee Conversation. Today, we are talking about very interesting topic, which is EdTech. We have with us a research scholar and somebody who has been a teacher, a wonderful teacher for past many years, and a researcher in EdTech. Welcome, Dr. Anita Divakar.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you find this session interesting and motivating to join our. I think Sharvari will tell you what exactly I mean. Join what?
Yeah. So Anita ma'am has been working very closely with us uh, on the next eduthon, our ongoing program. Registrations are open and you can register for any of the theme. But ma'am is helping us to develop theme named technology for making education accessible. So we will try to understand from a teacher's perspective also, like ma'am was a teacher, so how a teacher can view this edtech boom, and then what are the resources available, what are the available technology platforms or tools, and how can school or college infrastructure can accommodate this edtech. Now let us first understand from her about her own journey. So ma'am, could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah. So see, after graduating, I worked in various engineering colleges in Mumbai region, including VJTI, KJ Somaya, Vidya Vihar, Sion, and then in Polytechnic College for a few years. So I have been, associated with many colleges as a teacher because I used to go for, conducting examinations and so on. And almost around 2000 to 3000 students, I believe I have trained in my journey as a teacher, and I still am a teacher. I am a teacher at heart and soul, I would say. And
Once a teacher, always a teacher, is it?
yes, and I feel blessed that I have interacted with such wonderful and motivated students. Always I have got good students in my class and also online when I'm taking classes now. So like then during my teaching, I realized that I came across this. As an engineering teacher, I always believe that engineering happens in laboratories. And every time I had to conduct experiments in the laboratory, I was always, there was always a shortage of resources. And during this, I came across this concept called as virtual laboratories.
Okay.
And that triggered so much of interest in me that I dedicated my 9 years of research on these virtual laboratories through IIT Bombay. Yeah, so still I continue my research and design and development in virtual laboratories.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is one of the most powerful technology tool that we have as engineering teachers. Which can develop, not only the knowledge but skills, some attitudes amongst the students. Yeah.
Okay. So this virtual laboratory is one part of educational technology, right? But what are the other tools or resources available which are open to all and anybody can develop them or anybody can use them? Whatever the school is, like school situated in Mumbai or Bangalore, or otherwise school situated anywhere in the world.
Right. So basically, if you say for a teacher, what matters is, the classroom. See, the tools can be classified into different categories basically. And many of the tools, initially, yes, there were tools which were proprietary, and teachers or institutes had to spend a lot of money on those tools, getting those tools. But with so much of research and so much of opening of the systems, like many people are going into this open source mode,
Right.
Creative Commons licensees and so on.
Hmm.
So with this, many of the even the educational technology tools, they are being offered as a open source, through open source. So I would say that if you categorize the tools that are available for the teachers, I would say that there are digital learning management systems. Then there are systems which you can use on the mobile phones. Then there are systems like the massive open online course platforms. Then there are self-directed learning content which is already available. Then there are collaboration platforms like the one we are using currently, the collaboration platforms through which this through these platforms you can have this synchronous type of learning you can conduct. So instead of a classroom, you can conduct online session. So the tools are classified. Then there are instructional design tools, like educational technology is also referred to as instructional technology, and that is one of the most important aspect of educational technology. So if you see, educational technology is technology of education and technology for education. So when we say technology of education, basically we are talking about the instructional technology. Like suppose a teacher has some goal in her mind, or so that goals get converted into learning objectives. So whatever is a broad goal, suppose I want to develop a particular skill amongst the students. So then from the skill we come to what are the objectives, what exact skills you want to develop. Now, based on this particular goal and the objective, the teacher is supposed to design the instructions. Now, these design of instruction can be either a classroom setup in the classroom context, or it can be in online context, or it can be asynchronous, whatever. But that is the most important aspect, that is instructional design. So this instructional design has to be effective. Only then the learning objective and the goal can be achieved. And then the third aspect of this is assessing. Right? For example, if you, now you have the objective, you have the goal, you design your instruction and you deliver that content, or you assign that instruction to the students. Now what next important step is, you want to know whether whatever objective has been achieved or not. How do you come to know that? So that for that we have different assessment tools. So there comes into picture the assessment. So these are the 3 or 4 broad pillars of instructional technology. And then for giving or delivering these instructions, or achieving your objectives and goal, we can make use of the different technologies. So that is technology for education.
And what is that?
That is, those are the different technology tools that are available for the teachers. Like I said, the learning management systems, then the massive courses, then the synchronous delivery tool, then instructional design tools like Snap is there by Lecture, and so many. So all then assessment tools are there. So all these are the technology for education. But unless you are you are very well conversant with technology of education, that is how people learn. There are different theories of learning. So unless you know those, it doesn't make sense to use the technology.
So first first you understand about the learning part, and then you do the technology part. So any edtech person who wants to design, any technology person maybe who wants to design a platform for a technology platform for education, has to understand a bit about what is education.
Yes, right.
Could you just help me to unpack this a little further? क्योंकि अगर layman's terms में समझना है कि ये टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ एजुकेशन क्या है, टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर एजुकेशन क्या है, एक तो सिंपल चीज है, एक तो आपके पास प्लेटफॉर्म्स है, टूल्स है जो कि टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर एजुकेशन है, राइट? उसमें क्या आता है, असेसमेंट आती है, उसमें आपके लर्निंग मैनेजमेंट हो गया, फिर आप कंडक्ट कैसे कर रहे हो, दिस इज जूम प्लेटफॉर्म और फेसबुक प्लेटफॉर्म, तो ये एक प्लेटफॉर्म हो गया। राइट? तो ये वाले सारे आपके टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर एजुकेशन में आ गया। और टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ एजुकेशन क्या हो गया कि आप पढ़ाते कैसे हो।
राइट राइट।
ओके, लर्निंग थ्योरी क्या यूज कर रहे हो, फिर बाकी डिजाइन क्या है आपके करिकुलम का, या फिर जो भी मतलब क्लास का इंस्ट्रक्शन आप डिजाइन कैसे कर रहे हो, राइट? लेसन प्लान क्या बना रहे हो। सो दैट इज समथिंग विच इज टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ एजुकेशन। तो ये दो चीजें हमेशा हैंड इन हैंड जानी चाहिए, तो ही आपका फुल प्रूफ एडटेक बन सकता है।
सॉल्यूशन, या
ओके ओके। सो दीज डेज आजकल के दिनों में हम देख रहे हैं कि एवरीबडी वांट्स टू वर्क ऑन एजुकेशनल टेक्नोलॉजी, है ना? बट एजुकेशन के अदर एस्पेक्ट्स जो है उसमें बहुत कम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, एंड द न्यू स्टार्टअप्स विच आर कमिंग इन, they call themselves education startup, but essentially they are making technologies, they are not into education much, right? Or they are creating a platform where they are gathering content, ठीक है? A tech platform where they are gathering content. So how do we understand that ki why is there is so much why people are so much attracted to educational technology suddenly?
Yeah, see, basically, what I believe is that till now it was like, hardly any technology was being used. I remember in my 28 years of my journey as a teacher, initially for almost 5 to 6 years, the only technology that I was using is my notes, handwritten notes,
Yeah.
the books from the library, and the chalk and board. Then slowly, as we went ahead, came the overhead projector.
Right.
That was the technology, but it was very expensive. Way too expensive that each and every teacher can have a OHP for each and every class. So it was like, we had to book for the OHP. Then slowly after the OHP came the this LCD monitor, this projectors.
PPT.
So PPT became the buzzword of all teaching and teaching. But unless your PPT is based on strong theories, unless the see what matters when you are teaching, or it's basically the teaching learning experience that you are giving to the students. And the focus has to shift from teaching to learning.
Okay.
See, initially for all many years, even myself, I was, in like, I want to teach this. Now when I have grown as a teacher, I believe, no, that is, see, my teachers will say, yes, you deliver such an excellent class lecture, but that is not the objective of the teaching learning at all. The teacher may have delivered a wonderful session, but what matters is how much has the students learned from your class. Not only that, how much of the learning retains. Because retention and transfer, these are the two important things that matter to the student. Means how much of the whatever knowledge or whatever thing I have delivered in my class instructions I have delivered, out of that, how much the student, suppose you call the student tomorrow, they come to your class tomorrow, how much of that they do remember? Many times it happens that if you just go on lecturing, I always say, even I think most of my colleagues from our department, we believe that lecturing is the worst part of teaching. Because the retention is hardly 7 to 8%. The next day you come to the class, you ask some questions, they would have forgotten everything. So unless you have this active learning strategies incorporated in your teaching learning experiences, retention is going to be very less. So if you want really the students to learn, if you want that there should be a retention of the knowledge, of whatever transfer of the knowledge, it has to be active learning methodologies.
Okay. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि इसको बहुत ही सिंपल टर्म्स में और सब लोग समझ पाए ऐसे टर्म्स में टेक्नोलॉजी को अनपैक करें, इसको डिस्कस करें, और इसमें क्वेश्चंस मैम के साथ हम डिस्कस करेंगे. सो आपको अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज कमेंट बॉक्स में टाइप कीजिए, तो हम वो क्वेश्चन को ले सकते हैं मैं
Yeah.
मैम को वो क्वेश्चन पूछूंगी, मैम आंसर करेंगे. सो मैम हैज डन हर PhD इन वर्चुअल लैब्स, राइट,
Yeah.
फ्रॉम IIT Bombay. So there's a department in IIT Bombay which is exclusively dedicated to educational technology, and this is the one of its kind department, right? यहाँ पे अगर एजुकेशन का डिपार्टमेंट होगा किसी कॉलेज में, नॉट नेसेसरी कि एजुकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी का भी डिपार्टमेंट होगा, या फिर किसी में अगर इंजीनियरिंग है, टेक्नोलॉजी है, तो उसमें एजुकेशन इंटीग्रेटेड नहीं होगा, राइट? सो फ्रॉम अ लर्नर्स पर्सपेक्टिव, अगर मुझे इस फील्ड में कुछ करना है और मैं टीचर हूँ और मुझे इस फील्ड में कुछ करना है, मैं चाहती हूँ कि मैं कुछ करूँ लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस बेटर करने के लिए, बिकॉज आई एम फेसिंग सो मच ऑफ डिफिकल्टी राइट नाउ टू टीच माय स्टूडेंट्स. ठीक है, उसमें प्लेटफॉर्म रिलेटेड टेक इश्यूज है कि कभी इंटरनेट नहीं चलता, कभी स्टूडेंट का वीडियो ऑफ है, ये सारी प्रॉब्लम्स है. और फिर अलग लेवल की प्रॉब्लम्स है कि यार एक्सपीरियंस जितना क्लासरूम में डिलीवर होता है उतना एक्सपीरियंस ऑनलाइन नहीं डिलीवर हो पाता. सो इफ आई वांट टू डू समथिंग, वेयर कैन आई स्टार्ट?
You are saying as a student or as a teacher? Like,
no, anybody who wants to do something as a teacher or as a student, what is the good go ahead, like what is the starting point for them?
so starting point is basically you should know what is the problem that you want to solve, right? What exactly is the problem, and then focus on the problem. Look for what are the existing solutions to that particular problem. What have other people done? See, if you have a problem, naturally there must be hundreds of people having the same problem. It's
Right.
not something unique that you have. And to solve that problem, naturally many people must have thought of different solutions. So first you need to do some research on what are the existing solutions. Just do some research, and then you think that in that particular whatever solutions are existing, maybe what problem you are facing, some aspect of your problem is not getting covered in that solution. So you can say that, okay, this is a solution that is existing. These are 10 solutions. Now this solution has this feature or this particular, you can say component. Okay. Whereas, so you just compare these, say, 10, 15 solutions, and you find out where exactly is the, where exactly your problem fits. Is it, can your problem be solved by using any one of these solutions? Might well, you can just tweak it for your scenario or your context. Take the same solution, but not, if not, then you can think of, okay, this is what I want to do novel in this particular for the solution of this particular problem. That is what we call it as finding the gap in the existing things, and then coming out with some novel solution for that problem in your context. Because even maybe there may be 10 solutions, but the context is different. For example, if a solution is of a classroom environment where I have, say 50 students, but now I am faced with the problem that I have to teach, say 500 students. Naturally, the solution that exists for 50 may not work for 500. There can be some, nitty-gritties of these 500 things that you have to solve. So you can come up with something different for that particular thing. So basically what I meant to say here is that you have to analyze the problem that you are having at hand first. Means you need to know what exactly is the problem that you are trying to solve, right? Then to solve that particular problem, what is there already there? What already there, does it solve your problem? By just modifying it a little bit here and there, use it. Otherwise, go for a new solution altogether, which will fit your problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ये हो गया problem का research part, right? So talking about your department, ma'am, so what are the research areas available in the department, and what are the different things that you research on in the department?
Yeah, so basically in Educational Technology Department of IIT Bombay, we have two main categories of research that is going on currently. So one is, we call it as a TUET.
Hmm.
So I belong to that group of research, that is
And
teacher use of educational technology.
okay.
So through this research group, we provide training to teachers
Hmm.
on use of different educational technologies.
Acha.
So in that, we not only cover the technology for education,
Hmm.
like the visualization, simulations, or videos, online content, MOOCs. Then we cover the virtual laboratories, obviously. So all these are the technologies for education, and also we cover the aspects of technology of education, like how good is your instructional design. So that aspect also we cover. So we conduct workshops for teachers. So till now we have conducted many, I think professors Sridhar Iyer, he is the head of my department, and Professor Sahana Murthy, she is also one of the pillars of our department. So the two of them, they have been doing instrumental work in this domain, and obviously all the alumni of the ET and then we have recently new faculty we have they have joined. They are doing it, they are going into much deeper topics like the data analytics, AI, using AI, virtual reality, augmented reality. So all this, so that is one aspect. And the second is thinking skill, that is TELOTS.
Okay.
So technology enhanced learning of thinking skill, that is the second track.
Hmm.
So here basically PhD students, they, along with their supervisors, they are designing, developing some excellent technologies for development of thinking skills among the students, because this has been always a complaint, that the students, they lack in thinking skills. And then it was like felt that that is something which is inborn in this child, and you cannot develop thinking among the students and so on. But that is a myth. We all believe thinking can be very well developed amongst the students. So that is the track. So there we have so each student is coming up with one thinking skill, say for estimation skill. That is one of the skill that is required amongst the students. So we have come up with a technology, online technology tool for development of that particular thinking skill. My colleague Aditi, she has done that. So each of the thinking skill, they are come up with excellent solutions, technology solutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, one thing I wanted to ask you, why are there so many edtech startups out there? Like, why is everybody focusing on edtech?
Yeah, you asked me earlier also.
Ha,
I think it is something like, I would say it's a herd thing that, like it's a typical of, I believe, Indian thing. Like I remember in my area there, initially there was no Xerox center.
hmm.
Right. So after a few years, I saw one Xerox center just adjacent to my building. Immediately after 2 months, there was one at Xerox center opposite of that. So maybe people feel that this is something hot. So it's like, like some years back when I joined bachelor's of engineering, that time, electronics was a hot topic. So each and everyone wanted to do something in electronics. Then came computers around 85, 90s. That time computers became hot. So I believe currently education is hot and educational technology is even hotter topic. So people want to do something, and there is a lot of scope also. See, we have
Okay.
a huge population, and education is one domain where people are ready to invest, I believe.
Okay.
Even the investors, angel investors, the venture capitalists, they have certain things which they are ready to invest in,
Right.
because maybe the return on investment is good enough for them.
Yeah.
After such success stories like Khan Academy and these Byju's and all, there people are looking at their success stories, and that is motivating them to go into the edtech domain, I believe.
Okay. So this is a good point actually. You are talking about Khan Academy, Byju's. So are they content startup? Are they instructional startups? Or are they technology startups?
I feel they are all focusing on content.
Okay. So these are education startups, but not really technology companies. So
Uh, I am not very sure. Some technology is there, but mostly I think they are mainly into delivering the content online to the
yeah,
students. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So any particular company is doing great job in the space of creating technology for education.
Yeah, that is where I also give the feedback on the current education policy.
Hmm.
The document that we were given to,
Ha.
we went through.
Yeah.
There is a one specific, and it's a good thing that there is one specific chapter dedicated only to
Yes.
educational technology in the
Yes.
current education policy,
Hmm.
which is yet to be implemented, I believe.
Hmm.
But it's a good start for the educational technology people, the community. So I what were we discussing?
No, so I'm asking कि कोई ऐसी कंपनी है क्या कि जो ग्रेट काम कर रही है टू डेवलप टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर एजुकेशन.
I believe what has been happening, Sharwari, that this is what point I mentioned. This has to be a bottom-up approach,
Hmm.
right? So, like I said, that the teachers or the student, they are facing some problem.
Hmm.
See, normally, why we want technology? Because we want to solve some problem.
Right.
So currently what is happening is there is a technology, and the people who have developed that technology, they say that, okay, this will be good for your education.
Okay.
That is, but what should happen is that, okay, this is the problem that I'm facing.
Hmm.
And then people do research and come up with solution for solving that education problem, and a
Okay.
technology solution for that education problem. I think there are some companies. I think in our department itself, we have a next education research lab.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
people, they are doing this type of work where they are researching into the problems and then coming up with technology solutions for the research problem. So basically, I believe that any solution that is that we are coming up with
Hmm.
specifically in the education domain should have a
Hmm.
research base.
Okay.
Should
Okay.
not be haphazardly, something you are giving to the teachers. Okay, this you use this, it will be good. No, there you should say strongly that yes, we have carried out some studies, some research studies, and these studies they point out that yes, this is good for this thing.
Hmm.
Use it. Yeah.
Okay. There's a question. How can EdTech spread to more and more schools, including government schools? This was actually, I was also coming to that point now. And what are the challenges? Like, one, before that, I want to ask if EdTech is something available to masses, because given conditions in our country, is it becoming a divide tool? One question. This is first question, and then is it something that we can make available for masses?
Yeah, I believe that yes, like you said, it may be a dividing thing, like because some students basically with it all is financial. Finally, it boils down to that, and
And
education
access also, access to
accessibility,
technology also.
accessibility, and the economic aspects
Yeah.
of implementing the technology. Both these are, yes, they do are hindrances in the implementation of technology on a larger scale.
Hmm.
Like if you see, but with the penetration of mobile, see many people are now coming up with technology for education, which are we call that as a device independent. Like
Hmm.
even they are available on the mobile platforms, and
Hmm.
mobiles are something which are they are available, but obviously then it comes down to internet connections.
Yeah.
So yes, when you are talking about technology, online technologies basically, when you're talking about that, yes, this is a big problem, I believe, and we
Yeah.
need to do something about this. Even when I was conducting this, workshops on virtual laboratory.
Hmm.
So for virtual laboratory, internet connection and a PC or a laptop is a minimum requirement. And
Right.
labs are available online 24/7. They're free of cost. There is
Hmm.
no cost involved on using those laptops.
Hmm.
But when I conducted workshops in this Mumbai region, it was very Pune also, easy,
Hmm.
Nagpur also. But when I went to remote areas,
Hmm.
right, I found that many of the places they had the computer lab, yes,
Okay.
but it was not as good as the one that we have it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And most of the colleges, they did not have a good internet connection. Yes, actually government MHRD has built this national knowledge network through which they have provided the internet connection to most of the colleges, but
Yeah.
at school level I am not sure what is the scenario. So if the technology has to be if the educational technology has to reach the depths and breadths
Hmm.
of the country, naturally there has to be some provision made for the schools, especially the government schools in the remote
Yeah. Yeah.
areas where, yeah,
So
this is a issue.
here comes the decision making, like political decisions also has to come from that direction, plus policy decisions also has to come from that direction, fund allocation has to happen, and this has to come on the agenda. अब भारत पढ़े ऑनलाइन MHRD का एक नया इनिशिएटिव है, so have you been following that, or as in is this, is that initiative something which is making a difference?
Yeah, I believe it will definitely make a difference, and it matters, when if the government is looking at it, if they feel that yes, like I said, in the education policy they have one full chapter on education,
Yes.
that itself is a starter. And we will go a long way. I believe it will happen. Only time, it takes time. Such things do take time, but the rate of change at is very high currently. So like the urban and rural divide and all that, I mean, that we cannot comment much on. But yes, I believe that government is progressive in this direction. Yeah.
Aja, tell me something. If I'm sitting in Bangalore or you're sitting in Mumbai, you want to solve this particular problem, ठीक है? Let's think about very very simple ways. अगर हमारे पास अच्छा इंटरनेट कनेक्शन है भी नहीं, अगर मोबाइल है नहीं, I mean smartphone is not there, then what could be a solution, a probable solution, जहाँ की we can reach through technology to masses. Maybe it doesn't have to be expensive, right? It could be very much implementable.
Yeah.
So do you have something of that sort in mind कि अच्छा ये किया तो maybe ये problem solve हो सकती है?
Yeah, it's see, it's not something like it has to be a computer based technology, right? There are some very very simple tools. Like I said, experimentation can be done on computer, and the same experimentation can be done even in at your home using some simple things available around you, right? Or something which is available in at home, right?
Yeah.
So what matters is basically that the teaching learning process, that is,
Yeah.
is what is most important.
So in this case, when schools are closed, ठीक है, and students are that at their homes, and teachers are also at their homes, and they do not have accesses. Like they don't have access to good internet connection or good laptop or good smartphone, 4G data. So in that case, I think things like IVRS or broadcasting, something like that should work, or is there a better and frugal solution to it?
Mm. I think it depends on what is it that you want the learners to learn.
Okay.
Depending on that, yes. Suppose you are talking about, school level science or mathematics. I think that can be taught even at home by parents, or even teachers can send some material to the parents. They can take care of it. That can be
Okay.
done. So there are many tools available offline. It's not that everything has to be online. Then
Yeah.
there can be some small physical things that you can provide, like small kits, for example, where the students can use it at their home and learn something
Okay.
possible. And these kits are not very expensive. And
Like a what kit? Any example of that?
like, for example, I would say for engineering,
Huh.
in engineering kids, if they want to learn, say, there are some small experimental kits that are available. Even small robots are available. Through that they can learn something. So that
Okay.
is possible. I mean, it's not like you just have to stop learning because you don't have technology or you don't have internet. It should not
Okay.
happen.
Yeah.
uh, the teacher and parents together, they can definitely work out on a solution to this particular problem, to
Okay.
keep the learning going.
Mhm.
And again, I believe education, see, what I feel is that we have uh, extensive focus on
Hmm.
uh, formal education.
Yes.
I believe formal education is just one aspect of education.
Hmm.
There are so many things which needs to be taught, and that can be taught through informal
Means.
interactions. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so there's one question. How can we use technology to help improve a student's reading level and comprehension skills?
Technology for,
Ha. For reading skills and comprehension skills.
I think that is what I have been wanting to work on,
Hmm.
because I remember, I feel reading is one of the most important skill which many, not only the children, I believe even adults are lacking.
Hmm.
I look at the number of WhatsApp forwards that we get every day. I think I should not be commenting, but I could not stop saying, people just don't read. They just don't comprehend what is going on. They
Hmm.
will just forward anything and everything that comes on their WhatsApp group.
True.
And this is causing a lot of problems. Like you said, can technology be a problem? Yes, this can be one problem if people start spreading the data content
Hmm.
without reading it and
Hmm.
comprehending
Hmm.
it. So this is one of the most important skills.
Hmm.
And this can, yes, definitely technology can play a very important role in developing this skill.
How?
So and it is on the onus of, I believe it's on the onus of the parents that they uh, it is a habit. It's not something you, just like we develop the habit of brushing the teeth in our kids every
Hmm.
day. We say that every day in the morning you must brush your teeth, right?
Hmm.
Every day in the morning you must take a bath. So
Hmm.
these are some of the habits that we develop. Similarly, reading must be developed as a habit. Like, I will tell
Okay.
my experience as a mother. So every day, even if I was half asleep, means when I was working full time as a teacher, I hardly used to get time.
Hmm.
But I made it a point that every day at night I would read at least half an hour to my daughter. And that is
Okay.
how I have developed that habit. And that is very important. And see, many people may disagree with me, but it is the onus of the parents, I feel.
Hmm.
Nowadays, parents don't have time for their kids, but at least I feel when the kids are going to sleep, just half an hour before they go to sleep,
Hmm.
spend that time and develop this habit of reading. You will thank yourself for doing that. I bet on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. But then let's say I'm a teacher and I want to improve students' skill in reading
Yeah.
using technology. Then how can I do?
Then yes, there are different tools. Like I think one of my colleagues, he is doing excellent work in this particular domain. I'm not able to remember exactly the name of the tool, but they are, there are like this Kindle books. That is one good example of how you can. Now there are interactive books that are coming up.
Okay.
So a child, he goes through say a paragraph or two paragraphs of the book, and at the when he's flipping, like it's when it's flipping, in that there will be some interactivity that this child has to go through. So that interactivity will be based on what he has read, what he has comprehended, or something like that. So this is one type of technology tool which you can use, wherein you can make the child or the kid go through some content, and then at the end of some part or portion, there has to be some so interactive books, I believe, or even the audio books. That is also one
that is for listening skills, maybe.
Skills, yeah.
Okay, so another question here is: can skill development be done online? Because nowadays there are so many skill development institutes which have to operate online.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm sitting here in Bangalore and I want to develop a particular skill, like let's say programming, or let's say animation. Can it be done online?
Yeah, definitely it can be done. I myself am using online tools for development of the programming skills.
Okay.
There are a lot of tools, online tools available, which help students in, so they write the code. Then the tool will, when they are running the code, there will be a debug facility. The debug tool will tell that, okay, this is the error that you have made. You rectify that. That is possible.
Okay, so coding is essentially very easy when it comes to online, but hard skills, let's say electronics, or let's say hotel management, a part of that, maybe cooking, could that be done online?
I would say that, like even virtual laboratories for that matter. See, I believe in the strength of the virtual laboratories. I say that it's a very excellent technology, but finally, when you are coming up with a product, electronic product like embedded system product or a Internet of Thing product, when you are developing something physical, right? Then you can take the see, you can design everything, but when it comes to actual implementation,
Testing.
like you say cooking, you can watch a YouTube video, it says that, okay, do this, but when you're actually doing it, doing the act, the physical act, that time I believe it has to be something which you are doing it yourself, like it has to be something physical. So for such skills, I believe the technology is just augmenting the development.
Okay.
It cannot be just on its own.
Okay, maybe for one of the problem statement in Eduthon, we could look at, how can hard skill development be done using technology. Maybe there are videos there, like courses and videos available online, but how can they be more engaging, or how can a feedback loop be developed, like assessment or something? So that's what that is something we can look at. Maybe MOOCs is a better medium to do that, like edX or Coursera. They have ample of courses, and I'm very sure that they must be having assessment part also.
Yes.
So another thing, ma'am, talking about kits. They could be low tech kits, non tech kits as well. But let's say we are developing educational product that somebody in rural areas or somebody in hilly areas, they don't have much access to technology. तो मैं वहां पे जाके बस उनके हाथ में वो बुक या फिर किट कुछ भी थमा दूं, and they should be able to play with it. So this is also something we can look at the Eduthon, right?
Yes. That's what I said. No, it's not just online, or it's not just internet based that the education can happen. even offline and with hands-ons,
Hmm.
it is possible. Yes.
Okay, okay. So I would like to understand about the current situation, which is pandemic situation. So is EdTech becoming a boon to people to solve problems, or is it becoming a problem, and is it becoming a cause to problem?
See, anything which is used in certain limits is good.
Hmm.
So I would say it's true for the technology also, educational technology also. See, if you are using it, like I said, I have mentioned earlier also, there are 4 metrics. Whenever
Hmm.
you
There is some difficulty, I guess. Ma'am, you could try switching off your video and still uh, be there. Okay, we can wait for 2 minutes for ma'am to come back. So if you have any questions, then please put it in the comment box and talk to us regarding the problem of EdTech. So the thing is, we are designing your learning content at the next Eduthon with Anita ma'am, and she has been coming up with these ideas like, it can't be only tech tools or tech platforms, but can you do something with, let's say, QR codes, infrared, or something, very, very simple as non-tech educational kits. So now ma'am is in Mumbai and I'm in Bangalore. Still, we are facing technical issues. So the theme in Eduthon talks about access to technology for making education accessible. So what we could think in this line कि अरे बाबा अगर मुझे ही इतना बैंगलोर में बैठ के प्रॉब्लम आ रही है तो बाकी लोगों को तो कितनी प्रॉब्लम आ रही होगी. और जब ये बोल रहा है कि स्कूल्स अगर ऑनलाइन चले गए, so what happens to those schools which do not have infrastructure? Yeah, I mean, teachers don't have infrastructure, students don't have infrastructure at home, then what are they supposed to do? Can we do something for them in the tech part? And yes, for the for the betterment of your solution, you can come up with ideas, you can come up with problem statements, and we will guide you through navigating your way through it for making a prototype. हम ये जरूर कोशिश करेंगे कि एक्चुअल जो आपका यूजर है उसको लेकर आके फीडबैक दे आपकी तरफ, क्योंकि कितना भी मैं बैंगलोर में बैठ के सोल्यूशन बनाऊं, मेरे घर में बैठ के सोल्यूशन बनाऊं, लेकिन जब तक वो टेस्ट नहीं होगा एक्चुअल यूजर के साथ, जब तक उसका फीडबैक नहीं मिलेगा, तब तक वो प्रॉब्लम रहेगी. एज इन जो प्रॉपर सोल्यूशन बनना चाहिए, जैसे हमने डिजाइन थिंकिंग सेशन में भी देखा था, वो नहीं होगा. So ma'am is saying she got disconnected. Let me just ask her ki is she coming back? Okay, so she has come back.
there
So,
that way.
yeah, so I was just saying ki you sitting in Mumbai, I'm sitting in Bangalore, and that too in a city-like area. Still, we are facing technical difficulties. So, how can we do something for them who do not have accesses? Is it even relevant question? I don't know, but still, we are thinking about tech solutions, right? Low tech or non-tech solutions.
Right, right. Yeah, so like I said, there are 4 metrics. There accessibility, attractiveness, efficiency, and then effectiveness.
Okay.
Yeah, there, people are, in and out, they are going for technology many times, even not thinking about whether it is going to be effective or not. Like I see many solutions like education platform, they are coming up with, augmented reality, virtual
Yes.
reality. They are using all type of high-end technology.
High-end technologies.
Without having a strong base of how people learn.
Okay.
So if you are just showing them something on the screen, right? It's just like, lecturing.
Okay.
Like earlier. So if they are just observing something without doing any action on their part, or without even thinking of what is going on.
Hmm.
It is not effective. They are not learning anything.
Okay.
So even a low tech or a small tech solution, which has a strong base of learning.
Okay.
I will say it has an upper hand over a high tech, which is not having any research based or any learning based or learning teaching.
Cognitive skills.
Yeah.
So basically हम लोग बात तो करेंगे ना cognitive skills की भी और cognition की भी बात करेंगे थोड़ी बहुत eduthon में, so that for all your solutions there is a small base of psychology or learning theories. So now, ma'am, I would like to, have your opinion on what could be the, solutions for eduthon. What kind of ideas or problems that we could see in the eduthon, or what is your general opinion on eduthon?
See, I basically felt to be a part of this eduthon is because of the themes that you have put in it. So it's an excellent way of approaching towards, like I said, the first thing that we are going to see in the eduthon is the participants, they have to come up with a problem. So they are going to work on some problem that they want to solve. Right? Yeah. So that problem can be in any one of the 4 themes. So the 4 themes that we are looking at is, first is the educational technology, then second is curriculum and pedagogy, then education for development, and education for democratic citizenship.
Yeah, so there is teacher education as well.
Teacher education. So these are the themes, and each of the theme has got immense number of problems, and these problems are going to come up with from the participants who are very much inclined towards solving that, or they are motivated towards solving that particular problem,
or they are facing the problem.
They are facing the problems and want a solution to that particular problem. So they are taking part in this eduthon. And this, like I said, we are having a bottom-up approach.
Yes.
Not like a top-down. Okay, the management has bought this technology, so teachers, you use this. It's not like that. It is something like the teachers or the students or the parents, they all are going to be participants. They are going to come up with whatever they are facing or they are seeing in their surroundings being faced by other people, and they want to find out some concrete solution to that problem. Not only that, I think the another aspect of this eduthon which I found very interesting, like you said, there is a boom of startups, which is good actually, because we need more and more startups to come. This community has to develop at a rapid rate, right? And that is why we also have this learning for livelihood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Our,
you can maybe switch off your video.
So this is something which. Yeah, so this is what I feel is it motivated me to be a part of. These were some of the aspects of eduthon. So I would like to congratulate Sharvari and Ruchira for coming up with this excellent concept, especially during this time when the problems have exaggerated to a very level. Like I hear people joking around on education, which really hurts. People are saying that when it was announced that education, like schools were the first one to close it, so it was not because it is not important, it was because of the safety of the kids that we were worried about.
Yes.
And I think each and every institute has worked hard to keep this education going.
Yes.
Because I read jokes coming up like, I have spent 22 to 25 years of life doing something which was not necessary. Some such comments really, they need to be avoided, I believe.
Yeah.
Because education is something that is the most important thing, and it's not just formal education, like I said earlier. education is something which happens at each and every moment in your life, I believe, and it keeps on happening till you are alive. It should keep on happening. Keep on learning from people different. Now also when we are having this session, I am 100% sure both of us or even the people who are participating, they are learning something.
Yes, definitely. So learning is the base of anything, like whatever you do in your work or your education, formal education, I would say, or any interaction, any social activity. So learning is the basis of that, right? Learning happens every time. And um, for making a better technology solution or making a better curricular solution or a policy decision, you need to consider that person who is learning, right,
Yes.
in the center.
Yes.
So that's all the focus of the program. And like ma'am said, ma'am, could you please briefly tell us about what happens in the edtech theme?
Yeah, so in the edtech theme, first we have this learning phase. And in the learning phase, basically, we will be covering some important aspects of educational technology. Like I said, technology of education, technology for education, and hands-on sessions on some of the educational technology tools. Once the participants have a brief, idea about what it is, then we go for the ideation phase,
Yeah.
wherein the participants themselves come up with some specific problem. We also help the participants in coming up with specific problems, because initially the problem that they come up with may be a broad problem which may not be that specific, which can be
Right.
solved by one particular solution. So we help the participants through some experts, some mentors in different domains, and depending on their problem, they come to a specific problem. Then we have this uh, we have the
Prototyping.
prototyping. Yeah, that is the most important phase, wherein we have a continuous hammering of and yes, we are looking at forming different groups who have a common problem. Some may work in as individuals, some may work within groups.
Yeah.
And they come up with a solution, the prototype of their solution.
Yes.
So that is, I think, a 2-day thing. Just like we have a hackathons for the codings and other.
Yeah.
So
But
similar to that, we have. So this is basically the most important part of this eduthon. This is where we are going to have some rigorous things happening,
right.
right? With involvement of everyone in that in those sessions. And then after that, we definitely, when the participants are putting in so much efforts, they are coming up with different solutions, we would like to showcase it to some experts, industry people, some people who are ready to invest. If some people come up with some startup ideas, or they want to come up with their own startups, we are going to include some venture capitalists or angel investors who will be a part of that. We obviously we will be announcing the prizes at
Prizes as in people. It's not just like um, 1, 2, 3
yeah,
rank holders, but this will be more of okay, you are getting support from here,
right.
and this project is getting
And,
support from there. It's like that.
so it's like putting the pieces together. So
Yeah.
there's someone who has a problem, someone who has a solution, someone who is ready to implement that solution, someone who is ready to invest in that particular solution. So it's like joining all the dots together. Yeah.
Great. So I would personally request all of you who are watching this video, if you have not yet registered for it, if you are facing any problem, like we said, like, okay, ये टेक्नोलॉजिकली पढ़ाना इम्पॉसिबल है, ये प्रॉब्लम है आपकी कि यार ये टेक्निक, ये सीखना टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, या फिर मेरे पास इतना टेक्नोलॉजी, इतना इंटरनेट स्ट्रांग नहीं है, लेकिन मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ उसके लिए. सो इफ यू हैव एनी ऑफ दैट प्रॉब्लम, अगर आप प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहे हो तो आप पर्सनली रजिस्टर कीजिए, देन यू कैन बिकम अ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर योरसेल्फ rather than being dependent on somebody else, right? So that's the takeaway from this, ki technology is part of it, and technology is the very important part of it, but we also have to look at the education part of it, right?
Right.
So thank you so much everybody for joining. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for this wonderful session. And
So all the participants, I would say, just be a part of this wonderful event that Sharvari and Ruchira are organizing. Let us
not just me, it's you also.
all of us, yeah, we are a team, so all of us are doing this, so let us be a part of a bigger team and
Yeah.
come up with some good solutions.
Yeah, yeah. So, ma'am, we are having discussion on EdTech right now, but there is more controversial discussion which is remaining. That is for technology education, where
Yeah.
many things come up. So, right from coding to AI to anything, we will have that discussion as well in our coffee conversation sometime.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot for joining. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.